So there's a couple of different, kind of approaches, if you will, that I'll take. The black hat is the most common terminology that I'll use because I'm really there to be an adversary to your organization and your security controls, right? So if I can find it, they can too, and I want to be the first one to find it so that we can help you resolve and close those security holes. There's two different kind of broad groups of penetration testing that I do. One of them is external, one of them is internal. And there's a very different approach, right, between the two that I'll take. So in the example of an external pen test, my primary goal is to find as much open source information about you as I can. So I'm out there looking for folks that are on LinkedIn. I'm out there looking for your cloud presence. I'm looking for any remote access that you might have, SSL VPNs, email, OA, Active Directory, federated services, all that good stuff. I want to find, what you have exposed to the internet, and then leverage usually multiple of those to put together an attack that is more often than not successful. If I'm doing an internal pen test, so let's just kind of hit on what that looks like real quick. There's a couple of different types of internal pen testing that we do. One of them is what we call an assumed breach model. That is that I have already gained control to something inside your network, and you want me to see what I can do with that. Where can I go? How can I expand access, move laterally through the network, things of that nature. This is probably the best way to go in most cases, in my opinion, because getting a foothold inside of a network is relatively easy to do, right? It's one phishing email away from me having access to an endpoint in your network, or an endpoint that has access to your network, and we'll talk about that a little more as well. In addition to that, there are other types of internal pen testing, where we'll try to gain a foothold in your network. It takes a little bit extra time, costs a little bit extra money, but it basically proves the process of how a bad guy is going to get into your network. And the other way is to just full on, drop one of our laptops or virtual machines onto your network, loaded with hacker tools, ready to go, and that's a very extreme example of an assumed breach model, and kind of skips right to the heart of how good are your internal controls? How good is your internal patching process? What does all that look for, or what does all that look like?